Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4 and we are going to present about Unit 3 Statistic and Probability. I am introducing you all to my teammate Muhammad Umar Razin, Abdullah Fahim, myself Muhammad Raimi Hazim, and Al Sheikh Asaid Muhammad Nur Uwais. This is our table of content. What is statistic? Statistic is a branch of applied mathematics that involves the collection, description, analysis, and inference of conclusion from quantitative and qualitative data. People who do statistics are referred as statisticians. They are particularly concerned with determining how to draw reliable conclusions about large group and general events from the behavior and other observable characteristics of small samples. Why statistic measurement? We use statistics to make decisions based on historical data and ongoing trends. The correct data always serves as the basis for critical decisions. This is why businesses always go to in-depth research to grow their venture. Statistics for business use tools that we primarily use in mathematics such as mean, median, bell curve, probability, and bar graph. This is the type of data: qualitative data and discrete data, qualitative data and quantitative data. Pardon me. Data, qualitative data is a data that cannot be counted, measured, or easily expressed using numbers. For example, gender, male or female, model of handphone. Quantitative data is a data that can be counted or measured in numerical values. For example, height of student, length of file, and number of students that come to the library each day. Discrete data. Data that can only take certain values is called discrete data. This data can be counted and has limited number of values. For example, the number of fruit collected from the tree, the number of employee in your department, and the number of product currently held in inventory. Continuous data. Continuous data is data that can take any value. Height, weight, temperature, and length are all examples of continuous data. Some continuous data will change over time. The weight of a baby in its first year or the temperature in a room throughout the day. That is the example. Pardon me. Frequency table. A frequency distribution table is a method to organize the data given so that it makes it more meaningful and easier to understand. There are several definitions used in describing a group data frequency table. For example, no, not example. Interval of a class, lower limit, lower boundary, upper boundary, size of the class interval, last midpoint, and cumulative frequency. Interval of the class is the difference between the highest and the lowest value of the class. Lower limit and upper limit. The lower limit is the lowest value of the class interval, and the upper limit is the highest value of the class interval. Lower boundary and upper boundary. Lower boundary is the midpoint between the lower limit of the class interval and the upper limit of the class interval void. Upper boundary is the midpoint between the upper limit of the class interval and the lower limit of the most class interval. 4. Size of the class interval. The difference between the upper boundary and the lower boundary of a class interval. Class midpoint. Upper limit class interval plus lower limit class interval times 2. Cumulative frequency. The sum of the frequency for a class and the frequencies before the frequencies before the class. Pardon. This is measure of central tendency like I said before. The mean, median, mode, and range. Mean. The mean of set of number is the sum of all the numbers divided by the number of values in the set. Median. The median number in a sorted list of numbers and can be more descriptive of that data set than the average. Mode. The number in set of numbers that appears the most often. Range, difference between the highest value and the lowest value in a given set of numbers. Another one, interquartile of range, or we usually say IQR, is the difference between the upper and lower quartile values in a set of data. It is commonly referred to as IQR and is used as a measure of spread and variability in a data set. Variance or variance, the statistical measurement of the spread between numbers in a data set. More specifically, variances measure how far each number in the set is from the mean and thus from every other number in the set. Standard deviation. Standard deviation is a measure of how dispersed the data is in relation to the mean. Low, small standard deviation indicates data are clustered tightly around the mean, and high or large standard deviation indicates data are more spread out. Pardon me. This is real life application. I'm going to tell you about the real life application. Probability plays a vital role in the day-to-day life in the weather, forecast, sports, and gaming strategies. Buying or selling insurance, online shopping, and online game, determining blood groups, and analyzing political strategies. Probability distribution are used to describe the population of real-life variables like coin tosses or the weight of chicken eggs. They are also used in hypothesis testing to determine p-value. This is our example. The data given is the number of age for participants who joined the national marathon. Without grouping the data, answer the following question. Find the mean, range, variance, and standard deviation. This is our raw data that were given, our homemade raw data, and this is our calculation or answer. We made a table that that tells the value of lower boundary, upper boundary, midpoint, x times x2 frequencies, fx 2 fx square root, and cumulative frequency. Pardon me. This is our calculation. The calculation is based on the the data or raw data. We make a table, so the table helps it. It's our calculation even more. Plus mode, mean, variance, standard deviation, and range. This is another of our calculation. First, we find out the location of median. We get the number of the median class, and then we get the class size. And then we proceed to use the median formula, which is L plus 6 divided by 2 minus frequency, cumulative frequency of the median class divided by the frequency of the median times the class size. And then we got the answer, which is 23. This is our histogram graph. This is our conclusion. In conclusion, there were 40 people who participated in this reading. You can see there were 10 people which were at most in middle age. We noted that those parents also brought their children, where we knew only 3 children aged 1 to 6 years were there. They were the younger among all participants. We have learned on how to play around with solving statistical problems. The tabulated data and the calculation are the proof that we can understand and created our own problem statement to be considered our group discussion. We have been through thick and thin, passing the timeline given by Madam Fazila by reconsidering of our witness. We were doing the assignment with whole group and in partial several times, but privately done at most. We have our thanks to our lecturer who had teach us this lesson. That's it from me. I'm your host Raimi Hazim. See you in the next live. Thank you. And for our reference, thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu. Where is the end recording? How to end?